Welcome to Kyoto, Japan. In part 2 of our Kyoto series, we'll introduce some more classic attractions and our thoughts on including them in a 3-day itinerary. We'll start at the Kiyomizu-dera area with some panoramic views of the city and a stop by a viral matcha spot. On the second day, we'll connect with the tranquil side of Kyoto at the Philosopher's Walk. But first, you join us midway through the morning on our way to Nishiki Market, Kyoto's most famous food market and a classic tourist destination. At this point, the market is very much a mainstream tourist destination, and as such, you'll find big crowds and higher prices. However, we thought it would still be worth it to check out and grab a couple snacks. We had some slightly overpriced seafood, but the best thing we tried was this beef curry bun with fresh sesame. So good that we went back for a second one. Make sure to bring cash, by the way, as a lot of the stalls don't accept credit card.
Okay, these are soy donuts from Nishiki Market on the side. I got the ones with caramel in it. Let's see how they are. They're not like super light, but they're good. I think these are gonna fill me up. There's 6 of them.
Next up, you'll find us in the quite crowded Ninezaka area, specifically Gokago. We wanted to try their viral extra rich matcha latte, topped with some matcha ice cream. The wait was long, but worth it in the end. This was one of the best matcha lattes we had, and it was in a pretty cool location with a nice back patio area to enjoy the drinks. So we climbed mostly up the mountain, or we just passed through the gates, and it's like flooded with people. So here's our best side angle view of the shrine, and we're gonna check out the all-wood shrine at the top in a second. The spot that we're at right now is roughly halfway up Mount Otowa, and we're looking at the bell tower in front of the temple complex, which this building specifically was built in the 1500s. Kiyomizu-dera is a Buddhist temple complex with a history dating back over 1200 years to the time where a priest had a vision to set up a temple near the Otowa spring. The wood building at the back of the complex is the most famous, the main hall. As the crowds were really big, we didn't pay extra to go inside, but the 43-foot elevated platform in the back boasts some even better views of Kyoto. In the Edo period, an ancient superstition foretold that you would get a wish granted if you survived jumping off the platform. This was banned in 1872. On our way down the mountain, we strolled north through the historic Ninenzaka area. It's hard to avoid the cliched descriptions here. It does look like a fairy tale, and it does look quintessentially Japanese. The crowds were also too big at this time, but it's hard not to be caught up in the moment as the streets turned golden with the sunset. I wish I could have come back to take some photos at sunrise as well. Our last stop of this day, at the bottom of the hill and bordering on the rest of modern Kyoto, is the Yasaka Shrine, looking extra peaceful and beautiful at night. Tomorrow we've got a great itinerary, but for now, here's some evening and sunset photos.
It's our last morning in Kyoto, and we're walking towards the Philosopher's Path right now, and it's such a great relief after being in so many crowds yesterday.
Yeah, it's super quiet. We woke up a little early. It's like 8:30 right now. Every morning is like very valuable because we can potentially beat crowds. We might stop by the NanzenJi Temple first. There's like a few temples at the bottom of the path, so we'll see how we like that. I think it's appropriate to package the Philosopher's Walk with the NanzenJi Temple as we speak about them, but also for your own trips, because they're physically close, around 20 to 30 minutes walk, and because the atmosphere is kind of similar at both. They're both on the eastern side of Kyoto, and both in a very green and lush hillside area. Apart from the temple buildings, NanzenJi also offers some very serene gardens and something I was not expecting to see, this brick aqueduct, which dates from the Meiji period. It was part of an ancient canal system, and it looks like it came straight from ancient Rome, rather than here in Kyoto. The structure here is the Sanmon Gate, which was built to commemorate those who were lost in the siege of Osaka in the year 1615. It's the biggest building in this complex, and its dark, wooden, natural construction was pretty unique compared to other monuments we've seen. One recommendation: if you come here in the morning, try the Blue Bottle coffee shop, which is located close to the main entrance. Its opening hours didn't line up with our schedule, but I really wish it did. Now here we are, arrived at the southern end of the Philosopher's Path, the name given to a small pedestrian trail alongside the canal. It's named for a famous philosopher who would walk this trail every day on his commute to the university nearby. The path itself is not that impressive on its own, but it got famous as a spot to see cherry blossoms in spring. It's also just a peaceful spot where you can really unwind and connect with nature a bit. On the northern end of the path, there's some ceramic stores, some cafes, and some other local businesses. For lunch, Kyoto-style soba noodles and fish. This was a great family-run restaurant right off the path. Our last stop in Kyoto before taking our afternoon train was AG Coffee. At the northernmost point of the Philosopher's Path, there's a bunch of souvenir shops and some cafes. This one was great, and make sure to take a peek at the little garden in the back. Kyoto was the first stop of our trip and was super rewarding. Apart from the obvious, rich history, food, and tourist sites, I was really struck by how green Kyoto was, and I loved being surrounded by hills all day. But now, we're trading in the tranquility for bright lights and big city energy. Next stop, Osaka. Subscribe and follow along for more travel adventures.